Dear Dhamma friends, today is the 7th day in our retreat. This hour we have allocated for the question and answer session. As usual, there are some written questions. We are going to start the session with the written questions. Meanwhile, cordially invite if there are any other questions, topics or any suitable statements, welcome. So meanwhile, I will go to Sangiti for some written questions for the discussion.
Your first question, dear Bhante, after I finish my meditation practice, when I do some other work, I always see some aloka, like appears in the corner of my eyes time to time. Please give me instructions to go back to my practice again. Kindly comment on this.
So whenever such a thing happens, only thing you have to concern whether that kind of appearance of a light or any kind of thing disturb your intentional action. For example, after sitting you go and start washing dishes or do other day-to-day thing, and meanwhile if there are that kind of a light appears, does it interrupt you or distract your thing that you do with your intention, or it is appear in the background or side by side? If it is in the background or side by side, understand that indicate the purity of the mind. Still it is lingering on after the sitting, and usually it is not disturbing your work. If it is so, just take a note and pay the main attention to the task that you are performing with your intention, and consider this as a kind of a lingering effect of your sitting meditation, and usually it is not disturbing you. Only you must take care if it is some or the other disturbing you. Otherwise, just be aware, pay attention to your primary task, what you do with the intention.
Dear Bhante, I am finally able to meditate, being aware of my breathing when walking and staying with my inhalation and expulsion of breath. I have more than 3 years trying to train myself to not sleep and daydream. This week has helped me so much. Now I have a new problem of sharp pain in my neck and shoulder area. Every day it is going. In the morning, I watch it move as the day becomes in the afternoon. When walking, I am distracted with my awareness of movement. While sitting, it gets worse. My breathing is so important that it is worth the pain. But if you could suggest something other than naming pain, sharp pain, and watching if it moves, I massage it and it sometimes helps. I catch myself with short naps, but overall I am enjoying the meditation now.
The first sentence it says, I am finally able to meditate being aware. This is not the end, this is the start. So therefore this is not the final, now only you have to start. So that now onward you may see many messages, many amplified signals from the body appearing, because so far you were outside. You were thinking about the past, future, other places and other things, that is what we call usually wandering mind or distracted minds. So when and where you invite you to the mind to come home, and after struggle only the mind comes in, and once it comes, it is another problem. So much of imperfections in your body. Sometimes pain, sometimes inner chatter, all the kind of thing. So according to the teaching of the Buddha, as far as our mind is engaged with the external affairs, past, future, other places and other people, the amount of stress, the amount of tension, amount of torturing is unmeasurable. immeasurable. So we are get exhausted, burning the candle from the both ends, and ultimately we become quite exhausted. So instead, the Buddha says, take the attention to inwardly. That is what we call insight meditation. When it comes, what you met up with, nothing but attention. But it is smaller when compared to the outside. That's the only difference. And if you can't appreciate that, then again you are jumping from the frying pan to the hot place. So the only thing you have to understand with the help of this practice, you make use your internal signals in order to keep away the external unlimited amount of signals. When that happens, tension changing from external thing to internal thing. So therefore, now what is available is measurable. You can be aware of it. So therefore, you must appreciate at least now, I am here and now, I can understand the pains. These pains are not hallucination. They are not mind-made. They are really under your nose. Though it is not the breath, though it is not the rising and falling. So it is something reality, something realistic. Now only you are living in the present moment. But that signal is not always pleasurable, desirable. Only you have to rationalize it and deduce and say, due to this pain in the neck, I am freed from the pain which is related to the past, related to the future, related to other people and other places. Now this one is burning one under your very nose, and it's almost like the breath. So whenever the breath and the real pain going to fight, go by the strength of the signal, that's it. If the strength of the signal of the breath is foremost, you try to be with that, being it is your primary object. If the pain going to take the upper hand, well, you remove your attention from the tip of the nose, bring the attention to the place where it is painful, and be aware natural characteristics of that pain, whether it is burning type, or stabbing type, or moving type, or twisting type, whatever may be the natural characteristics. And then whole time you are mindful. So not that you are searching about something pleasurable, something desirable, but first and foremost thing is your mindfulness, and that is to be justified or verified in two ways. One thing, this is happened due to your practice. Second thing is, as far as you know the pain, it is under your very nose, your mind is less defiled than it is roaming around the past and the future, other places and other people. So these are the two things you have to appreciate. And therefore your attitude to the pain is not hateful. It is not enmity. You just consider a pain as something, the object which you have to be aware, which you have to be aware about its natural characteristics. And when it is happening, as far as no reaction to the pain is there, the Buddha says it is bearable. When and where you develop antagonism to the pain, then it becomes unbearable. Then only it becomes torturing or excruciating. So therefore, not the pain itself is unbearable, but due to your reaction. But your assumption, only that pain becomes unbearable. So of course, it demands a lot of mindfulness rather than with the breath, because breath is something materialistic. The pain is something mental. So therefore, pain is a very good sign, but the person may not be prepared, may not be mature enough to handle it. But anyway, once the pain happens, you cannot be unmindful. You are forcefully mindful. You can't pull the mind out of the pain, because it is dragging to the object. So therefore, that is already given, but the outcome, the experience, what you feel may not be what you directly expected. And therefore, keep on and consider this as a kind of a progressive sign, and sometimes pain goes up and down. And when I was in Panitarama, that Panita Sayadaw mentioned, when you are observing the breath, meanwhile, while the breath is present, the pain may be in the background, or pain may be in side by side. So if it is so, either you can see the breath and the sole object, or you can see through breath, and behind you can see the pain. You can see the background pain. You can see the pain in side by side. And the other layer of the picture is, while you are observing the pain as the primary object or most prominent thing, you can see the breath in the corner of the stage. Breath is there. It is not the main actor, but it is not gone away, because whatever the pain happens, breath is taking place. So moment you see both in a comparative way, you know the artist seeing through, not only just seeing through. Sometimes you can see through the breath and meet the pain, or sometimes see through the pain and meet up with the breath. So likewise, the multidimensional can happen. For that you have to be fairly patient, fairly be prepared, fairly end up with already prepared mindfulness. Otherwise it appears like something blocking. But not necessarily. If you are skillful, you can put it in a positive way.
Bhante, I have heard that even though the self-view or Sakkaya-ditthi is removed at the stream entry level, the notion of I still haven't in the mind at other levels until one becomes an Arahant. Could you please explain if this is true?
In the technical jargon it says you are removing Sakkaya Ditthi, but Sakkaya is removing. It's a wrong view upon the Sakkaya. This is me, this is mine, and this is myself thing being weaker and reduced. But the entity, the living being is there, all the activities centered around that. But there is no much of affectionate connection. It's a very nice example given by later commentators. There are some vines or creepers growing and covering this complete forest, and the trunk of the creeper appears like a tree, and it is covering sometimes 1 acre of land or something like that. All over the canopy it is growing. So if such a vine, if you cut off from the trunk, immediately it won't die. It has no connection to the ground, but whenever the rain happens, the leaves are catching water, and therefore the twigs are still growing, but no connection to the ground, and even the flowering can happen, it says. But whatever the flowering happens, seeding never takes place. It can't produce viable seeds, because its connection to the ground is cut off. But it takes long time to the whole vine to dry out, or wilt, or die. So, though it is cut off from the ground, immediately every canopy, every leaf, foliage never die, slowly disappear. Exactly like in the Sotapanna, or the first stage, what you do is you cut off the trunk. But the huge branches and kind of thing appear like living. So it takes long time. Definitely its connection to the ground is no more. So immediately you can't feel it. Even the particular person can't see it. Even his or her teacher can't see it. But with time only, one can understand whether there is a irreversible, permanent change took place. So therefore, it is happening in a gradual basis.
Dear Bhante, you said reaching the black area is the maximum that you can do in a retreat. If so, what can we do to see things as they are, as a yogi? Is it possible as a yogi or not? Thero.
So in reality, black hole is the only thing existing. All the others are camouflage, all the others are dream, all the others are is mind-made. So seeing things as they are, means seeing the emptiness of this world, emptiness of this experience. So for the first time it appears like a black hole, it appears like bad omen, it appears like something damaging, it appears like something negative and self-negating kind of thing. So your reaction to that, preventing the further development. More and more you familiarize the black hole as such, you may understand with respect to the black hole, things are existing. Whenever things are there, things assume permanent notion, naming, labeling, signs. When the black hole happens, it can't accommodate any sign, no time, no space, and that is more primordial. Upon black hole only all the things are happening. So far you are being amused and taken for a ride by these signs and labels and permanent notion, and you consider this is as your world, but it is near your dream. When a meditation happens, you are taken back to the primordial energy. It appears like a black, it appears like a hole. It is not a black one, it is not a hole. That is your name. This is the reality. So you compare it, and still you want to have a progress. Mind you, progress is always with the materiality. Immaterial thing has no progress, no beginning, no end, no labeling, no sign. So when you go there, you feel like lost. So therefore it is not a matter of meditation or meditation experience, it's a matter of appreciation, it's a matter of outlook. So that is why you must have a prior theoretical understanding, your enormous amount of trial and error, and your own preparedness for this black hole. Once that comparison happens, relativity going to take place, you will understand how far, so far, what kind of yardstick you were using to measure the progress or measure the positive or the kind of thing without knowing the black hole. You give a bad name for the black hole, but it is not black, it is not a hole. It's the reality. So therefore, ask the mind to be familiarized. So in science, whenever the physics came into being, they were measuring the height, the width and the length of the matter, and they wanted to know the molecular weight, speed, individual characteristics and elementary characteristics. So they started put everything into this periodic cycle, this and that. And till they go into the subatomic parts. Till they go into the breaking of the subatomic parts. And when and where they go into that, it is just energy. As far as it is not collapsed into subatomic particles or atomic particles, energy has no time, no space, not possible to label, no beginning, no middle, no end. So that is the point that the Newtonian physics came into this Einstein physics, and that does not disprove the Newtonian physics, but it is seen through the Newtonian physics, and yet another reality, that is the primordial form of the universal energy. So whenever you go there, you understand Newtonian physics is just kindergarten, just Montessori, and what is the reality behind is energy. And whenever you apply Newtonian physics, the three principles to the energy, it won't work. Energy is working in a different dimension, but if you understand different layers of collapsion or reduction, energy is the one reduced into matter or quantums or matter, and they agglomerate, and then only it become different objects and the human beings, male, female, and everything can be reduced to the energy. When it is reduced, it's a full of potential, full of possibility, but never collapsed into matter or name, but it is have the potential. So therefore, seeing matter versus the energy, now they know energy won't represent even 4% of the volume, 96% you see only the energy, black hole. So energy is the reality. Whatever you call matter is only 4%. So therefore, if you understand what you are chasing behind is, what a fractional thing in the world, within that only one not conscious. enmity, jealousy, all the kind of things. When and where it goes to energy, these defilements won't work. Energy you can't train. It's not belong to one particular territory. So meditation what leads is see through the matter and go to the primordial form. Not only the object that you see, even your meditative mind, go to the energies. When you go there, your rational mind threatened. Deductive mind threatened. Just asking then what is the need behind it? And how can I deal with this all the kind of thing? And to ask, shut up and wait, mind you. Just familiarize it. Rational mind never allow you to go in peace. Always comparing. Always one-upmanship. Always gradation. But when and where you go and hit with the black or darkness, your whole rationality, all the gradual formation, everything become nullified. That is how the question happens. That means not enough patience. And more and more you practice and more you become mature means you understand the matter is nothing but your own calculation, your own projections, your own imagination, everything coming out of this black hole or called the universal energy or cosmic energy. But our mind never compromise to accept it as such. If at all, that is the last job of the mind. To accept the black hole or the energy as the primordial form, because you can't claim it, you can't have a lion's share of it, you can't entertain any conceit out of that, you can't make an ego out of that. So therefore, all this that we like bankruptcy, dissolving, so you have to slowly acclimatize into that. So therefore, in a retreat we don't expect that much of thing. We just try to show another alternative to this, the materialistic world, the materialistic pressure. And the other part, accepting or rejecting is up to the individuals. No one can force it.
Dear Bhante, sometimes in sitting meditation I feel/observe the breath throughout the inside of the nose. Is it okay to do this? Or is choosing one small point to focus on better? Could you explain? Thank you.
As far as the object, something like the in-breath and out-breath, if you take it, if you resort to consider as a primary object, each and every object has three facets from the meditative point of view. One or the other indicates now you are in a meditative mode or you are mindful. If I have to explain the three facets, for example, if you take in-breath and out-breath as your primary object, when you sit, sometimes you know your mind is not with the breath but with the pain, not with the breath but with the thoughts or sounds. There you understand the breath is not selected as the primary object. But after a long time, just like the first statement, now mind goes to the breath. Now that indicates my mind is not chasing behind pains, not chasing behind thoughts, not chasing behind sounds. Sound, pain, thoughts are there. And it know now to select when and where possible the breath as the primary object. That is one facet. The second thing is, when you know now mind is with the breath, in your body, with respect to what part of your body you experience the breath. Some people find the rising and falling of the abdomen, that is together with the diaphragm. Some people find it's an enlargement and the shrinking of the chest. Some people find inside pain. Some people find at the tip of the nose. Some people find in top of the lip. So whatever may be according to your anatomy, the breath touches. Some points it differs from person to person. So this indicates the second criterion, second facet. Not only you are with the breath, but you know exactly it is with the left nostril or right nostril or top of the lip or at the bend or touch in the chest or somewhere else. So that added information to the first one. The third one is when you sure now you are in the breath, On top of that, you know where it is touching mostly, and that is also assured. And top of that, you can discriminate if breath experience is not without breath experience. That is the third dimension. With the third, all the three available, good. But even one third itself is enough to assure that you are mindful. So this is talking about the touching point. So more the mind unconcentrated, it is usually big area. When the concentration happens, that place become one pointed. That is what you call the concentration. So once the one pointed happens, that's a sign of concentration. It is concentration is a result of continuity of the mindfulness. So therefore, wherever it may be, it's a big patch or a single point, consider it as for the time being and keep on practicing. While happening, the one-pointedness can take place. And not only that, even if you know the in-breath is very rough and gross, out-breath you can't feel, or out-breath is rough and gross, in-breath you can't feel, that itself also enough. Or otherwise you are sure, even I can't feel the breath, my mind is not with pain, not with thought, not with sound, that is also good. So one or the other, you have to take a positive step, and when you keep on familiarizing, all the other supportive factors will come and reinforce your experience. So therefore, familiarizing with the whatever possible and keep on practicing, ultimately you learn your ways and means, how to be friendly with the breath, how to be proximate with the breath, how to be vigilant with the breath. So it is always evolving, starting from one thing, and slowly as and when the breath is going, it is evolving. Don't expect this thing to happen or that thing to happen, that definitely going to lead to a disappointment. Whatever thing happen, you take it as a then and there side.
Dear Venerable Dhammajiva, this morning I had a vision of a black background with twinkling white lights. Then they started to swirl in a clockwise direction very fast, and then in an anti-clockwise direction. Finally it started falling down like a waterfall. There was no sound made by the falling lights. I felt no pain in my legs. Then the wind from the air conditioner hit my face and experience was over. I went back to the breath. I had pain in my legs and noted the pain. In a short time I had to move my legs or open my eyes. About when that happened, 1 hour has already passed. But I had not felt the time. Am I correct to remain as long as possible with the vision and only move to breath when experience is over? That was
So, as far as this is some of the first and foremost experience, it's good. But still, if you wish to gear, wish to monitor, wish to take the situation under control, you have to understand, as far as you are imbibed and detailed with the vision, you are lost. Whenever the vision happens, you have to understand that is bringing you to take you for a ride. So therefore, don't go in detail of that. Instead, see when can you come back to the breath and keep the track with the breath. When you, while keeping the track with the breath, also the vision is evolving, then very healthy. Otherwise, if you are going to take the color, shape, manner of the vision, that means you are in a dream. So that your meditative result itself is bewildering you. So for the first time, of course, that you can't do much more than what it happened. But in future, you must understand that it is almost like thinking. It is almost like external sound, almost like a pain, distracting. As far as you are going to in detail, means you are fertilizing that unwanted thing. So therefore, don't go in detail of what is happening. Details are happening in a very vivid and lucid manner. That is none of your business. Maybe good or maybe bad. And when and where possible, don't push them away. That is not what I mean. Try to go back to primary object or see through this vision and get the touch of the primary object, then you are on the correct path. And therefore, whatever happening, whatever the vision going to happen, there is no clear-cut indication whether it is positive or negative. If you are going to indulge them, negative. If you are not indulging and understand this is something happening and my job is to be with the primary object, then it is positive. The example given is when you are driving, you must always look through the windscreen. If you are going to drive with looking at the side windows, you can imagine what kind of accident you are going to meet up with. So the side windows also show a lot of things, but you must understand, look and again come back to the windscreen. Or mirrors, the side mirrors also they are useful, but don't drive with the side mirrors. Then you have to give helmets to the pedestrians. They are in danger. So that is whatever appearing, you must understand driving is basically with the windscreen, but the car is endowed with the side mirrors and the glass and kind of thing. Occasionally you have to see. But again, come back to the primary object or the windscreen.
Respected Bhante, please help me to understand Samatha and Vipassana. What is the base for categorization? What are the differences? Are there any similarities? Are those two different routes of practices? Thank you. Thero.
As far as the last sentence is concerned, whether they are two different sets of practices, no. It is the two facets of the same thing, but someone to get kind of an original touch, first-hand touch, one has to present his or her present experience. Through that I can try my best. Otherwise I have to go through all the theory, inexhaustible. So therefore that particular person, if he or she willing to add their experience, whether they are doing Anapanasati, what kind of experience he or she is experiencing, then with that, with respect to that, I may try my best. But otherwise, you have to write PhD thesis, maybe 3-4 PhD theses in order to discriminate it. And so much it is distracting from your meditative mood. There is something wrong if I am going to do in midst of the residential retreat. But as far as that particular person's experience is concerned, that is pragmatic. So the person who has written the question, if he or she is happy to further go into this discussion, may present personal experience that will be helpful for me to analyze the situation, not to take otherwise the theoretical way. If he is not interested in, we are going to the next question.
Dear Bhante, in most of my morning meditation sessions at home, when the breath becomes the most prominent object, I feel as if I am moving either forward or backward, with each breath like moving in the air. I know this has no significant value in the removal of defilements, but would like to know what is causing it. Thank you.
What is causing?
What's causing it?
So that means that while the breathing is happening, other experiences also going to come into the same stream. Sometimes a movement, sometimes heat, sometimes stiffness, sometimes tension. So breath becomes the primary object. The example given is, may not be very common in the country like this. When you are making garland with a lot of flowers, you take a thread with a needle and put one flower by one flower to the same thread. Ultimately it appears like a garland. Likewise, when the thread is the Anapanasati, needle is the mindfulness, different experiences are happening. And throughout, the breath is there like a thread, and different experiences like moving, stiffness, tension, hardness, different things happen. So you must always try to understand, as mentioned, they are not much significant. Don't get the thread broken, then your whole garland is gone. So keep the breath and understand this is the movement, this is a manifestation of air movement, air element. So it may be backward, forward, or rotation, or jerks, or holding capacity, that kind of thing. Maybe some heat and cold differences. Sometimes liquidity kind of thing. So that indicates mind is slowly, while keeping the track with the primary object, see details in terms of elementary characteristics. And to facilitate it or improve the healthy growth, don't try to relate this experience to your body. Your head is moving, hand is moving, something like that. You just see movement, backward, forward movement. Or sometimes you feel head heat and cold. Sometimes you feel stiffness, tension, movements. When and where it is attributable to your body, it becomes very conventional. You try to see them as characteristic, natural characteristics, a moving character, heat as a character, cool as character, and let it happen, but don't lose track with the primary object so much so the mind is progressing. So they are the early signs of elementary characteristics. Right.
Yeah, we have finished all the questions. So we have 20 minutes left. So we can get some questions from the participants. You can talk to the mic. Yeah.
I wanted to ask this yesterday. I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but when you were talking about how a momentary experience, our momentary experiences of being conscious without logical thought, being just like a moment of living in a true reality, it made me remember experience I had swimming in the ocean where suddenly I was surrounded by a big group of dolphins, and they were communicating with me, and for a moment I understood them in a way that I couldn't really explain, as if their being came out of them and communicated with me, and then my brain started going, what am I supposed to do? And I kind of, and when it first began, I felt this energy coming up my spine. So I guess I felt like that was a glimpse and an awareness of potential that I have of just pure being, and it was inviting me by other creatures. I wondered if you have thoughts about other living creatures, specifically dolphins maybe, that have capacity for that telepathic communication and our connectedness in that realm with those creatures.
So what is your experience with this energy kind of thing? Does that disturb your relationship with the dolphins, or they took it in a natural way?
They were just cool with it.
And you had any fear or any kind of a...
I think I didn't initially feel it and label it as fear.
Yeah.
Initially it was an excited energy. And then there was just this pure moment of just being present. Now a lot of things happened in that moment that I couldn't remember. It was only afterwards that I began to be afraid.
So I had some experiences with that sharing with others. One person shot in the helicopter, and the helicopter dropped down, and the cabin has been twisted and the gloves, everything locked. And so that particular person was the pilot, and he was undamaged. His skull damaged, but he's aware, but he can't move. And the co-pilot break the window, go out and took him out. And he said then onward, everything happened in such a mindfulness. He was not a meditator. Everything happened and it was in a territorial area, marginal area, so they have to put the person back, and took 6 hours for the next helicopter come and take him to the hospital. And soon the doctor came out, cut here, not anesthetized, cut it here because everything is clogged inside. And till that he remembered everything. And he said, no fear. And it's that mindfulness is so lucid. He says when he is going back, he was sick as a sick person, going over a temple, they don't know, they were worshipping in the normal days. While after the accident also, he remembered that he is going over the temple now, in the helicopter, until this is cut off, everything clear. Then I was trying my best to share, even after meditation, whenever tick come into our mind, body, how much we get excited. Imagine a helicopter damage, and after that, that particular person completely indifferent, he can clearly explain what is happening. And then after the doctor has put stitches and put jaws together in order to get it, refix it, and inside it's already dead parts inside. He said bad smell. Number of days he has to be under, and after coming out again, he is an able-bodied soldier. He got the highest promotion, and he is now explaining. He's asking, Bante, you people are meditating for 30 years, 40 years, and you see what happened to me. No any kind of experience. Of course, his father was a monk meditating with us, and I was so happy to hear. Because this communication takes place only when and where no ego is there. As far as you resume myself and self-centered, communication blocked. So even you can talk with trees or creatures when and where you merge with them. As far as you have your self-interest, as far as you have the self-centered ideas, communication cut off. And if you are to read the near-death experience, enormous amount. At the near-death, after the person anesthetized, he knows what is happening, everything. So therefore what they do is, after putting the patient into the tray, they put some signs, patient can't see, from person looking from outside can see. So if someone going to say, at that operation I was aware that what is happening, they ask him, did you see the signs around the bed? Yes. Have you seen before the operation? No. And they give so much of experience, and not a single person so far detected a meditative experience such a thing. All are normal lay people. And I will that they have predicted like that, so you can check it whether it's correct or wrong. You see, if someone needs to undergo through such experience, that particular person never do self-cursing their own way. They never consider, I am an unfortunate man, or unfortunate person. No self-curse. Second thing is, never try to kill animal their own way. They love every living beings, every creatures. Third thing is, how old it may be, he will ever, or she will ever learning, developing skills, never think too old. So these kind of 3 characteristics are happening for those who have undergone this kind of experience. It says, some people say this is spiritual, but some of them are not. Many are reported and recorded in the Holland, and they have tested them. 40% given good signs, 16% reconfirmed all what they have seen and everything. They are going into different layers and met up with the already deceased parents and all the kind of thing. When the situation becomes so vivid, that indicates that our mind is so engaged in this materialistic world, so therefore we don't have time to go into the deeper layers, which is more, it is less and less defined. It is, we are sharing exactly the same. And RNA, DNA experiments, they say, you people are called white people, we people are called black. But our RNA, DNA, 99%, 98, we are equal. No different. Leave aside that. Even if you compare with the bacteria, RNA, DNA are the same. And it says, after the whole experiment, imagine 6,000 years backward, Socrates is talking with a slave. And Socrates is the biggest man and who changed the history. The slave is the person knows all. But RNA, DNA wise, exactly both are the same. You see how the people are treating people, only the superficial qualities and kind of thing, but internally we are exactly the same. But our education, our politicians, our economists, our social service, making all the sectarianism, and we are fighting each other. So you will not fight with the dolphin. Once you connected with. And even when an animal, elephant is about to charge, or even a dog is about to charge, or cobra, some people all of a sudden develop the connection and can't find difference between that animal and yourself. And they don't got no fear. Things are happening in the moment. Things are happening in a very slow way. And you can, it's tangible, your mindfulness is tangible at that time. So you can't put into the spirituality, but in the spiritual way also you can go into such status in a controlled manner. So we are all spiritual beings, even dolphins. They are spiritual beings, but we are the people called, this is a human world. It's such an unfair categorization. Each and animal will say, dolphins will say this is a dolphin world. Cockroaches will say this is a cockroach world. And we are the people putting constitutions and say this is me, this is you, if you are going to come here you have to get visa. Nonsense, what nonsense. We have no visa to go to the cockroach world. We are not asking permission from the cockroaches to go into the cockroach world. So humankind is such a crazy fellows. Such a crazy fellows, assuming this and that and interpreting others and kind of thing and call this is the human world. What a mad world. And if you consider everyone in the same, how nice. So these are not spiritual, but for the spiritual circle, this is giving kind of a new door opening, new window opening. We are already endowed with the Nibbana, or our final destiny. We are already enlightened. Only thing is we don't know. We don't believe. We think we are sentient beings doing so much of bad things. How can Nibbana come into me? So I have to practice at least 30 years or 40 years. Otherwise I have to wait till the next Buddha to happen, because I am so lowly person. I am so inferior. So this is the only curse in the world. So when such a thing happens, they say you will not be cursing oneself. To understand, we have the capacity. It's a matter of alignment with the other factors that is beyond our control. So keep that open. Every person you can get connected with either loving kindness or with mindfulness. There's two methods. Through the loving kindness you can tackle any person or any animal, as well as you can tackle through the mindfulness. We have come to the same vibration. Thank you.
We can get 2 more questions. We have about 7 minutes to go.
The question, someone was asking me the significance of the palm leaf.
This is to keep the palm leaf is not everyone is using. This is to keep your modesty. When you are giving a talk, you are not looking at the group. You are just looking at the leaf. And some people use it for short notes. Right.
Any other interesting questions?
Somebody asked a question about seeing the reality. I know you explained the deeper level of reality as the black hole. Is not correct to say that we also see the reality, for example, pain, this body itself, how painful it is. We see it when we start meditating, and also we see when we start creating stories about something, interpreting. As soon as we interpret, like you're saying, when we pick one idea about an experience, we suffer. And like that, then we keep going on creating stuff instead of seeing as seeing or hearing as hearing. We start seeing putting things together, like thoughts and then body and all that, instead of seeing this as four, like air, water, fire, solidity. So what I'm saying is, when we start meditating, we start seeing the body as separate parts and the difficulties that we have with that, and then same thing with the mind. Is that?
As far as the reality is concerned, it is exactly the same thing. Different people experience through their way of interpretation, so therefore it is ever new. At any stage in your meditation, or different people try to explain the same thing. According to your entanglement only, the disentanglement can be explained. So that is why the 2600 years, once the Buddha proclaimed, many others explain the same thing, but everything appears like novelty, everything appears like a new facet, but that is according to their own experience. So therefore reality is nothing to search, it is under your very nose, but the thing is, our communication, our perception, our science differ from our upbringings. Under different cultures only we have brought up. So therefore we explain them, we communicate them in a different way. So therefore reality need no any communication. Whenever you try to communicate, you miss the present reality. Reality is something undefinable. That is why in the Zen Taoism it says, whatever you can express is never eternal Tao. For eternal Tao is unexpressible. The Buddha mentioned atakavachara. You can put into words. But we have no other way other than the way we know, we try to communicate, and we have to understand. Never we can explain the absolute, but we try. So therefore each and every person try to explain according to their way, and that is how the discussion means. That not a single one is complete. But we do our humble, honest way of expressing as such, knowing this is the way that I can put into words. And by keep it in your mind, the truth need no any explanation, cannot be communicated 100%, but we being in the same spiritual group, try to share our experience, but when and where you are in the reality, no necessity for communication with others, and therefore always language is an ambiguity. Okay, now we have taken almost 1 hour. If there are no other questions to the discussion, we are going to take time for rest as well as for the walking meditation, and we will be meeting here at 4 o'clock for the day's Dhamma talk. Thank you very much for the participation.
Sorry.